Parallel and perpendicular lines, let's take a look at our first equation here. So the equation's given to us. Our job is to just take a look at the slope and determine what needs to be done based off of the slope that's given to us. So if we take a look at this equation, the slope is going to be the coefficient on the x. So I'm going to go ahead and just box that in pink for us. So our slope is going to be 3/5. So our job is to determine now, if we want to have parallel lines, what the relationship needs to be. Well, parallel lines have the exact same slope. So all we have to do is take a look at the slope, identify that the parallel slope is going to be the exact same thing, which is 3/5. Then, going back to the slope itself, to get a perpendicular slope, I'm going to flip the slope over that was given to me, so it's going to become a 5/3. And then I want to do the opposite of it. So it was positive, I'm going to turn it into a negative. So those are my two slopes for parallel and perpendicular for the first one. Taking a look at the second one, I want to write a linear equation that's perpendicular to, right? So a little bit of perpendicular. So take a look at these equations that's given to me. All I really care about is the slope itself, just like I did on the previous problem. So it's that 7/4 that I'm looking at. If I want to be perpendicular to this, then I know that my slope, using my subscript for the perpendicular symbol, I'm going to flip that slope over. And then I want to do the opposite of it. It is positive, so I'm going to make it negative. So this is going to be the slope that I use along with the point -14, 1. So I'll identify those two as my x and my y. And I'll take out the general form of an equation for slope-intercept. So y equals mx plus b. Go ahead and plug in what I know. So the y based off of the point is 1. The m, well, it's my perpendicular slope that I'm going to be using, which is -4/7, times the x from the point, which is -14. Bring down my plus b. Now my job is to solve this equation. Now there's multiple ways that you can do this. You can go ahead and just multiply straight across, or we can go ahead and simplify. So let's go ahead and simplify this instead. So I know that this 7 on the bottom goes into that once. I also know that 7 goes into that 14 on the top 2 times. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify as I go instead of multiply and then simplify. So I still have my 1 on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and multiply. It looks like I have a -4 on top times a -2, which is going to be a +8. And then I have a 1 times 1 on the bottom, which is just 1, and I don't need to write that. And then let's go ahead and solve for b. So I'm going to subtract 8 from each side. Those are going to cancel. Then it looks like b is going to be equal to -7. So I want to use the perpendicular slope that I found just a minute ago, which, based off of the equation, was the opposite reciprocal, so -4/7 x, and then the b I just found is -7.